Howdy, friends. This is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I explain what's going on in Russia. I explain how usual Russia is. This is an unscheduled stream, emergency stream. I don't even know how to start. Acts of terror has happened in Moscow, still happening. And I feel this is a very significant, tragic, significant, and important event that's going to have long-lasting effects on Moscow, on Russia, perhaps on Ukraine, and on other countries as well. Initially, I wasn't going to live stream today. Yesterday in the stream, I announced that I'm taking a little break and I would be releasing videos, but this is a pressing matter, and it's definitely no time to take off. I'm obviously not prepared for this. The reason I am going live right now, I would like to tell you of what's happened. As usual, I have lots of bits and pieces, and I was monitoring this event since the moment it started happening, literally a few minutes after the shooters entered Crocus City Mall and started shooting. I was watching. Let me check something here. I hope that sound is okay. I hope that everything is working and well, because I'm obviously not at my usual settings, as you see. Okay, sound seems fine, and everything seems all right. So anyway, let me tell you a couple words, explain what happened and where it happened. Imagine Moscow has a few large venues, huge venues, where big concerts happen. One of the venues is called Crocus City Mall. It's located on the outskirts of Moscow, right outside of the ring, Makad. That's a belt highway that encircles Moscow. Very conveniently accessible by car, very conveniently accessible by subway. I have visited that place many times myself, and I have attended concerts. The last concert I attended was Boris Grebenshchikov. So I was at the very same place where the terror unfolded, and I know the place quite well. I know how to get in there. I know how you had to go through security. I know what the hall looks like and so forth. Anyway, a large venue where there's basically a shopping mall, luxury shopping mall, aquarium, some entertainment businesses, and a large concert hall. Today, there was a concert. A Russian band called Picnic, very old band from the Soviet times, very popular band that attracts older folks, just like myself, in their 40s and 50s, folks who listen to older music, oldies. I listen to Picnic, I like them. And in Moscow, if I still lived in Moscow, I definitely would consider going and watching their concert. So I'm gonna give you the exact times, because I know I started monitoring that situation. Hang on one second. I'll tell you the exact name. I'm sorry, the exact date and time, not date, exact time. I started watching at 7:22 p.m. Moscow time, minutes after The terrorists, I don't know how to call these people, the extremists, the terrorists, the crazy ones, they started shooting. Initially, Russian news exploded with the news of some kind of shooting inside a concert venue, Crocus City Mall. Well, that happens, you know. And then most times it's not serious. It's just couple dudes get into some kind of conflict. And since in Russia, the weapons, the hand pistols and guns are strictly prohibited. You know, it's a crime to own a gun in Russia and carry a gun. Then usually they use what's called traumatic guns. They just hurt you with rubber bullets. You know, they don't kill you. Sometimes they use gas balloons. Sometimes they use gas pistols, things like that. So I did not pay attention to it, but then quickly the news got up. There were shootings, real shootings, lots of shootings inside the concert venue, Crocus City Mall. And this is how it unfolded. Okay, I don't know what you have heard about that. At first, there were reports coming in, and most of the reports were coming in from people inside the concert hall. And not just the reports, but the videos. I have tons of videos. I'm not going to show you a single one of them, because those videos are disturbing. So people started uploading videos of, first of all, was shootings happening someplace far away, and then videos started appearing that shootings happened right inside inside the concert hall, the venue where all the people were sitting. And now, where do I start? Well, I quickly understood. It became very, very obvious that something sinister was going on there. And then I started having questions. And I still have questions, and I'd like to discuss with you. This is why I'm doing the stream. Most likely, if I didn't have any questions, if it was a pretty straightforward ordeal, I would not be streaming right now. But I have questions, and I think that this is so much more to this situation that we are seeing right now, what media is telling us. Now, perhaps some crazy guy returned from the war in the possession of an AK-47 and started shooting. Don't forget, in Russia, guns are strictly illegal. This is what happens when you outlaw guns, mass shootings. So perhaps it was one guy, crazy or criminal or, you know, just who knows. But then I saw a video. Someone was filming, and I have all the videos. No way I'm going to show you because it's very disturbing. But you can trust my word on that. And you probably have seen some of them. They're appearing on Twitter and other outlets. So anyway, someone was filming on a cell phone from above, straight to the bottom. And you could see the entrance of Crocus City Mall, Crocus Concert Hall. Now, so you understand, you get inside and there are these machines, they check for metal. And then there are security guards. And obviously security guards, you know, stop everyone and body search if they find something suspicious, and you have to go through this machine. And then once you enter the hall, there is an open space, large open space, very tall one. Place is luxurious, okay? Tickets cost lots of money to get in there. So someone was filming from above, and I saw military-style operation going on. This is where I understood that something is very fishy about this thing. Imagine special op guys entering a building. I'm not military expert, but I understand a trained person. I can tell a trained person from untrained one. The way they act, the way they move, the way they position themselves, the way they are aware. You can't mistake military trained personnel with anyone else. Those guys were obviously very well trained. They were getting in as if it was SWAT team looking for terrorists, okay? And they were shooting at everyone who moved. They were shooting at everyone who they encountered on the first floor, and then they were slowly making, very cautiously, by the way, they were looking around, their heads were on the swivel. They moved to the main area, the main concert hall where all the people were. And then I saw footage from inside that concert hall. The people were, I'm not sure if they were leaving or they were entering. I think they were entering and gathering, but then they saw the gunfight outside and was far away. And they started leaving, but they were not in panic. They just started leaving, okay, en masse. And all of a sudden, after a few seconds, perhaps a couple minutes, because, it's just filming for about 20 or 30 seconds, the guys ran in and they started screaming, "Shut the doors, fudge the doors," And you could hear panic in their voice, you could hear fear. And then they were attackers, multiple attackers. They entered the concert hall and they started shooting people, executing people in cold blood. This had been prepared, obviously. This had been planned, and people who did this, they were trained. What happened after? No questions. And please, go along with me as I'm saying that. Listen to this. Please mark this down. Please think about it. Use your critical thinking. Now when it gets fishy. I understand that something like this could happen, and for a million different reasons, okay? I wouldn't even go there, but, things like that happen. Now, when the act of terror was happening, there weren't any law enforcement inside anywhere. There weren't any policemen. There weren't any Rosguardia, riot police. There weren't anyone. People were on their own. People were filming as they were leaving, and you could see, dead bodies on the floor in blood, and there was no one around. The first question is why. I wish I had a piece of pen and paper. Again, this is an unscheduled stream, and I'm looking at the computer screen as I go, so to speak, because things are still happening in Moscow. So, why an event of such magnitude with no law enforcement around? Now, the next thing I know is they start reporting that there's smoke coming out from Crocus City Hall. Smoke. Like, why the hell would there be smoke? Okay? Then, literally a few minutes later, I look at the video and I see a huge fire consuming a huge shopping mall. It's not just shopping mall. It's a bunch of buildings, large, tall buildings. It's something like Madison Square Garden, so you understand, And all of a sudden I see that it's consumed in fire and roof is falling in, is caving in. From what? Even if you set this place on fire, it takes quite some time for fire to spread like that. Well, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not a firefighter, I'm not an expert, but I just use common sense. Too quick. Why? Why is it too quick? Then there were reports that some of the attackers, terrorists, I don't know how to call them at this point, the scumbags, they wore some backpacks that appeared with something flammable inside. And then after, there were explosions, multiple explosions. Now, this is what we know so far. There are official reports coming in, and let me just, there's KGB jumped in, obviously. The official report still is 40 people were killed and more than 100 have been hurt. Now, Rosguardia showed up. I'm not even sure when police showed up, but Rosguardia, it was reported, Rosguardia showed up 30 minutes after the first shots were fired. 30 minutes. The special units, equivalent of SWAT, started storming the building 1 hour, 20 minutes after the first shots were fired. 1 hour, 20 minutes. This is the information I possess right now, and I was looking at the news as events were breaking out. 1 hour, 20 minutes. Another question. Let's say if I were to, anyone, to come to the Red Square, where there's no police inside, there's no Rosguardia inside, stand and take out a piece of white paper, A4 format, just regular, blank white piece of paper. Guess how long it takes for Rosguardia to jump out of nowhere and start dragging that person down and, into a special vehicle parked nearby somewhere. Usually it takes about 30 seconds. Why did it take 1 hour, 20 minutes for the special forces to arrive and start storming the building? Big question. Now, let me give you the latest news. And some of the news can be inaccurate because right now there's chaos. You got to understand it's still happening. And I'm doing my best. I'm giving you the news I know and that are available at this point. Later on, situation will become clearer and we will get more precise information, but this is what we have right now. And I'm using multiple resources. I'm sitting in front of a couple screens right now on my telephone. So okay, so it's confirmed. That's what I thought, but this is confirmed. Concert had not started. They started shooting before the concert started as people were walking in. There were reports, there are still reports from different people, witnesses, that they were from 3 to 10 shooters. They all wore camouflage, and they all had automatic weapon. Those who laid on the floor and they kept on laying for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then they were just crawling out of that big concert hall, they survived. Many of those who did not drop on the floor died, were killed. First news appear about who was shot, who was hurt. Like I said, mostly older folks, late 30s, 40s. There's one 12-year-old child. They were around 6,000 people as this act of terror started happening. Around 6, give or take. Full capacity is 6,200 people, and it was a sold-out show. The band itself, Picnic, no one was hurt, no one was harmed. Right now, law enforcements are obviously all law enforcement agencies in Russia are on the highest alert. In Moscow, Moscow has been locked down. People are still out of Moscow, but almost everyone's documents are checked, and everyone starts, like all the big bosses, all the heads of agencies start swearing they're gonna get those who did this. A disturbing news. There are reports. I don't know at this point whether they're true or not, but there are reports that 4 people out of the shooters have disappeared, have been able to escape. And that is a big, big question to Russian law enforcement. But then I'll tell you more later about that. Just give me a few minutes. I'll wrap up what's happening right now. There are at least 3 groups of SWAT, Russian SWAT, Spetsnaz, SWAT equivalent, inside the Crocus City Hall right now. There are reports, and they're confirmed now, that entire roof of that shopping mall, Crocus City Hall, not shopping mall, a concert venue, Crocus City Hall, is destroyed. It fell down, caved in. The pictures of fire coming in are absolutely atrocious. It is confirmed that at least 3 shooters, and perhaps more, and most likely more, because that's what people are reporting. And on the video that I saw, there were at least 3, possibly 4. There's a Telegram channel, one of the Telegram channels, reporting that before now, folks, when it starts stinking, before the concert. Now, remember I told you I have attended concerts there before, and let me tell you, to get in, the security guards, they searched you. They made sure that you do not bring guns, knives, etc. They searched you. So today there are reports that these machines that detect metal were off, and the guards were letting everyone in. Now, does it smell like inside job to you? How come today they did not search anyone? How come today they were letting everyone in? Another question pops up. Now, let's suppose this scumbags started storming inside, shooting people. Did they have any help on the inside? Perhaps someone had already been prepared to, jump in on the wagon with them. Just a question. Anyway, very fishy. The security were not checking anyone, and the metal detectors were shut off. Dmitry Peskov came out. He said that Vladimir Putin was informed. Well, who cares? Of course, Dmitry Medvedev couldn't keep silent like he should. and he called to the total executions of terrorists and repressions against their families. If it's going to be confirmed that these terrorists of Kiev regime, we will not deal with them in any other way except for executing them and repressing their families. You know, they all have to be found and executed as terrorists, including the officials of the states that commit such crimes. And I think he was hinting Zelensky. Now, Russian officials, top officials, started coming out and speaking out about that. Vyacheslav Volodin, parliament speaker, Ministry of Internal Affairs, police force, federal police force. Another question that I have, this is very fishy. One of the first government agencies of Russia who came out and said something was Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, don't you think something here is not right? A terrorist attack is happening in Moscow. One of the first government bodies to comment is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Very, very, very strange. The investigative committee, the body of the government, the body of Siloviki that opens criminal investigations, confirmed that they opened a criminal investigation into this. And the KGB, FSB, made an announcement that it is taking all necessary steps to... That's it. It's taken all necessary steps. They confirmed that there are people killed and injured, wounded. Geniuses, huh? Sherlocks. Now, there are two types of attacks happen. First is a single guy goes crazy, takes a gun and spontaneously goes and starts shooting people. Another type of event, for example, that happened in Russia in 2003 was it Dubrovka? Anyway, there was a show going on, and a bunch of terrorists, I think they were Chechens, they stormed the building and they took hostages, and there was a big standoff with federal officials, KGB and so forth, and the result was 117, over 100 person dead. Okay, so it was magnitude of what is happening right now. But that had been planned. That was a planned attack. They were actors. They had different roles, and they had planned the attack. So now something is fishy here. Remember that the American Special Forces reconnaissance, I think State Department, they warned that there's a possibility of terrorist attacks in Moscow in the coming days. And it was about 7 days ago, a week ago. No, actually not a week ago. It was 7th of March, 2 weeks ago. So they warned there's a possibility of a terrorist attack. They recommended American citizens to avoid being in places with large amounts of people. There is also rumors that the embassy of the United States of America in Moscow warned Russian special forces and gave some proof that terrorist attacks were being prepared. The Ukrainian leadership has come out and said that they have nothing to do with this attack. The advisor of the office of the president of Ukraine, Mikhail Podolyak, made a statement that Ukraine absolutely, definitely has nothing to do with what happened in Crocus City Mall. And also, the main recognizance committee of Ukraine also said that it had nothing to do with them. It's possibly a provocation by Russian special forces. Now, there is Russian voluntarily corps that they're trying to overtake Belgorod right now. They also said that it's not them. They have nothing to do with this terrorist act. But they're not surprised, they said. Anyway, this is what has happened. So right now in Moscow, there's chaos. There's an understanding that so many people died. There is it's a fact. It's a fact. Again, over 150 people have been affected, either killed or wounded. That's just the official statement. From what I have seen, from what I have heard, people leaving messages screaming, saying we can't run from the fire and so forth. There are many, many more. And some were killed, some are wounded, and some burned alive. This is something that is widely discussed right now and broadcasted by Russian news, by Russian propaganda, by everyone. And Russian Z channels, Telegram channels, have exploded with information. Just about everyone in Russia who has not anything to do with news is talking about that. And something doesn't add up here. Something is fishy in my eyes. Something I have questions. Now, again, why Russian law enforcement did not catch the terrorists in time before they started acting, before they started shooting? The law enforcement are so efficient when they go after the protesters against Vladimir Putin, the protesters against Russian regime. They treat it as a life or death situation. They are on you in 30 seconds. Here, it took them at least 30 minutes to show up. Why? Number two, if some or all shooters have been able to escape, then and I think everyone else, have big questions to the KGB, to the law enforcement, such as police force and Rosguardia, the riot police. If they have been able to escape, at this point it's unclear, but if they have been able to escape, that reeks of inside job, my friends. Another question is, why the heck Ministry of Foreign Affairs started talking about that? It's none of their business. Yet they were among the first ones to talk about this. Now, the magnitude of this disaster, 140 people, okay? Well, it definitely is a tragedy. It's happened in Moscow in front of everyone's eyes. There is a bigger tragedy happening right now. There's many tragedies inside and outside Russia. Outside Russia, we know, Ukraine And I'm thinking, how many hundreds of thousands of people have been affected, killed, wounded? Now, there are tragedies are happening inside Russia right now, in Belgorod and Kursk provinces. And the situation there is how do I say? I've been thinking all day today about it. It's not talked about. In Moscow, there is concert in honor of Vladimir Putin's president victory. There are celebrations, and then on the border of Russia, in Belgorod and in Kursk, near Belgorod, near Kursk, there's chaos, there's panic, and there's fighting. 9,000 children have officially been evacuated from Belgorod region. 9,000 children. Some officials in the territories that are under fire right now are offering Russian residents of those territories leave, and they're saying that there are places ready for them to host them in Kursk province. Well, they leave their homes. For how long? Who's gonna host them? Where are they gonna get money? How are they gonna pay their bills, their loans, things like that? No one is giving them answers. They're just saying, well, if you want, you can go there. And we urge you because it's not safe anymore. How many people are involved? Tens of thousands, okay? And no one is talking about that. But all of a sudden, something sinister, terrible happens in Moscow. And everyone is on it. That's everyone's topic. That's hype. I can't even, say it's hype. It's not hype. It's tragedy, right? People were killed. They were executed in cold blood, okay? But now it's talk of the country. No one is talking about anything else. Belgorod and Kursk are conveniently forgotten. What the heck is that? Don't you find this is very, very convenient? Now, we know that Russia is not doing well. I've been telling you that there was plenty of sugarcoating done until the March 17th. And all kinds of sugarcoating, and economic sugarcoating, financial sugarcoating, anything, The picture needed to be perfect, or actually not bad, at least not bad for Russians. The picture needed to project that everything was fine, everything was going according to the plan. Ruble is stable, prices are not out of control, plenty of jobs available, and things like that. Sugar-coated picture. 17th of March passed, and sugar coating is not needed anymore. Moreover, there's not much sugar left to coat, okay? And Russia is in trouble, and 1/3 of capacity of Russian oil refinery is gone. Russia has nothing to show on the front lines. Russian troops who were mobilized, Russian men who were mobilized so many months ago, 18 months, they have not been rotated. They have not been given vacations. They're just thrown there to the front lines, and they've been staying there, okay? And I think many are getting to the point where they about to go crazy. Because how long can a normal person to be in the front lines and stay normal, and stay sane? So rotations are needed. So don't you think it's incredibly convenient that days after the election, Russian presidential election is over, days after sugarcoating is over, an event of tragic magnitude happens? And you know what? Law enforcement is not there to help people. and they take their sweet time to show up. And when they show up, they don't catch anyone. And this is awfully convenient, okay? So convenient. All of a sudden, this huge black swan appears right after the election, and now it solves so many problems. Now, imagine if this happens. I'm not sure whether it happens or not, but imagine if it happens. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, the leader of the country, who was voted in again for the 5th time, he's saying, look, I am acting on behalf of Russian people who put their trust and faith in me just days ago, voted for me, 80% of the votes. I am acting on behalf of people, and look what has happened in Moscow. Look, and this is definitely has some smear of Ukraine, in it. And look, this is such atrocity that they committed. This is such a crime. Therefore, we need to act. And the first step is to mobilize so many more, hundreds of thousands Russian men more, because we need to give a symmetrical answer to this atrocity, okay? And we need to strengthen our military-industrial complex. It's been going great, but we need more. So therefore, we raise taxes, things like that. So don't you think that what has happened today is awfully convenient? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. So let me just give you the latest update while I was talking. Perhaps something else has happened. Friends, of course, this stream does not have monetization. I turned all advertisement off as, it's inhuman for me to turn commercials on, and I think that would be just absolutely wrong. So, one thing that really, well, it's not just one thing, but one thing bothers me, especially, is that there have been some individuals, Z-Patriots, that's how they're called in Russia, they have been saying, oh, we need to give a symmetrical answer. This is war. The gloves are off. Now no rules like they were rules before, And no one knows who the attackers were. The Ukrainians are denying that they have connection to the attackers. They condemned in the attack, The law enforcement have not come up with any evidence of any kind who is behind the attacks. Moreover, they haven't caught the attackers. At least there's nothing official about that at this point, not even rumors. And yet, people out there saying, oh, this is war. This is war. We need mobilization. We need firm steps, okay? We need symmetrical answer. We need to fight back and, forget about human rights. Forget about laws. This is the war now. No rules. Okay, as the news just came out minutes ago, the upper chamber of Russian parliament had just called the terrorist act in Crocus City Hall Ukrainian operation. What did they say and who said that? So first deputy of Defense Committee of the upper chamber of Russian parliament, Viktor Bondarev, thinks that Ukraine is responsible for the act of terror? Okay. So there's just one guy so far. Serbian President Alexander Vucic just commented the act of terror in Crocus City Hall, and he blamed the Western special forces, special reconnaissance forces, of knowing the situation. And what happened was, he says that it's them responsible or partially responsible. But you know what? They did warn. They did warn on 7th of March, and I remember, and in Russia they were talking about that, saying, oh, look. Then many people were convinced that the terrorist acts would happen after the elections, so, and they were right. So Alexander Vucic is full of it, in my opinion. The Russians were warned of possible fakes after this terrorist act. A Russian official, the first deputy of a public commission of Russian Federation, warned about that. The enemy will be taking attempts of informational attacks on Russian people. Well, one of the senators of Russian parliament was saved. He saved himself. He ran away. One huge question, friends, one huge. I'm reading the news right now and I don't understand. Who the hell were the attackers? Who was shooting? Moscow has this advanced face recognition system. There were so many cameras, every square inch around Crocus City Hall is covered. How come they're not releasing the data? How come they're not catching these bosses? How come how come they're not even talking about that? There is so freaking fishy. Okay, give me just 2 minutes and I'm going to scan some more news sources and I'm going to give you my summary, so to speak. Well, not summary. Summary is this happened, okay? No one's talking about Belgrade anymore. Again, no one's talking about Kursk. No one is talking about Ukraine that was hit so hard this morning. Kharkov. No. They are not talking about that. Now it's Moscow. 140 people. 40 dead, 110 or 100 wounded. Hang on. Again, this is something currently happening. That's why I'm not prepared and I'm learning things as I go. There are a couple trusted you know what? The United States of America, the evil West, the Satanists, that's how they're called by the Russian government, have condemned this terrorist attack. The European leaders of the European countries have condemned their attack. They call it atrocity, they call it inhuman, and so forth, Well, they're evil West, They should be celebrating. There should be joyous about it. No, no, no. They're hurting with Russian people, and this shows that they're so great. You fellas are so human. And like Russia, like Russians. This is normal human behavior. Okay, something happens. All right. No, not much. I'm waiting for the big news. They should report. The law enforcement must report. They either catch the attackers or they don't. They must report. Oh, we soiled our pants and they got away, or hey, we have possession of them. This is going to be the biggest news. Everything else is done. People are dead, people are wounded, many escaped. This is what happened. Now, I voiced my questions, okay, why I think this whole thing is fishy, and I think that starting tomorrow, we will start, well, perhaps Monday, we will start seeing steps taken by the Russian government, and the first step will be mobilization, a new wave of mobilization. It has started already, and I was going to make a stream, most likely in a couple of days, but I am going to tell you now. The mobilization has started. People in Moscow, many men in Moscow, have started receiving electronic summons. There are rumors multiple rumors coming from the highest levels of the government that 300,000 more men are needed, and they want to take Kharkov, make it Russian. They want to steal Kharkov. There was a news today. I did not see. Don't quote me on that, but I saw something like that. I'll do fact checking. I'll definitely put. This is big, major. Shoigu signed a decree or order, executive order, increasing the number of troops by 300,000. And Vladimir Putin is also signing it. So this is it. And I think that using this terrible tragedy, they're going to take it and they're going to put it as a sauce onto this mobilization dish. And they're going to sell it to Russian people, because Russian people will get taste of the sauce, but they will not say much. They will not feel much the taste of the dish. Sauce is very little. The dish is huge. We'll see. We'll see very soon. But I think that mobilization will have place. Hasn't stopped really, but a new wave mobilization. Now, I'd like to see the questions. I'd like to see. I've saw a few super chats. I'd like to acknowledge and say thank you for those. And I'd like to take perhaps a few questions of yours, and I'll be wrapping this up because again, I'm not at home. I'm on the go. It's not planned. I wasn't planned, and I'm not prepared. I just was telling you what I am seeing right now, and I feel that you need to know the truth. And this is my opinion. Well, I have not heard anyone else talking about mobilization, talking about this event as a sauce for a bigger dish. Okay, I'm the only one speaking. Perhaps there will be others tomorrow. I don't know, but this is what I think now. Just give me a second, folks. Jules Rames, thank you so much for sponsoring 5 people. I'll remind everyone I have started uploading 9 news every single day, 3 times, 3 news every time, to show important news as I see them, as what I find important happening in Russia, what I find teaches a lot about what is currently happening in Russia, and it gives the picture of Russia more voluminous, more 3D, you know. So I upload 9 news every single day at Patreon, and for sponsors on YouTube, if you would like to have access to the news, please become a patron or a sponsor. I hope you like that. So far, I've gotten very good feedback about that. And I'll be making news about the attack, the terrorist attack, and what's going to follow, definitely. 9 news a day. Keep Constantine happy, not away. Jodes Rames, thank you again. Paige Greer, thank you for your support. No message, but message is very clear and understood and much appreciated. Stefan Dooling, thank you so much for sponsoring 5 people. 5 more people, courtesy of you, will have access to daily news. Thank you. Boris, hello Konstantin. I don't really know what to say about this, but did the Kremlin already blame someone for this? I think you asked this question in the beginning of the stream. I have answered already. Yes, they start blaming Ukrainians. They haven't blamed directly, but they start hinting, and we start seeing the smoke, and definitely there's fire behind that smoke. Jorgen, thank you so much for your support. Uvec9, sponsor for 11 months. Thank you. Just Terry, thank you, friend. You're absolutely awesome. KG1, thank you. Terry agrees that this is fishy. KG1 reports of terrorists from Ingushetia because of ongoing insurrection there. Not sure what you mean. Allison Marlowe, so glad you did this for today. Just stay safe. Allison, to be honest with you, I wanted to go to sleep. And I let Lorna and Mammy K know. And then all of a sudden that happened. Forget about sleep. This is much more important. So I could not stream. Lorraine Prasnowski, thank you so much. Great to see you. Thanks for... You know, you've supported so much beyond money with your presence, with being sponsor, with just thank you so much. Pillar of Inside Russia, OMS, sponsor for 18 months, Dark Days, they are indeed. Thank you so much. Perhaps there are questions for me. Darla, thank you so much for your support. Thank you, much appreciated. Lorraine, again, thank you. I hope I'm not missing anyone. I would like to finish this stream with prayer. I see so many people. Most of you know that I pray at the end of every single stream, and today definitely much needed prayer for not just for the Russians. In Ukraine, a terrible event happened, and I'll mention that briefly. There was a massive strike on different infrastructural facilities. More than 1 million Ukrainians are without heat and electricity right now. Been all day. Problems with internet. So many people killed. I think many more than 40 dead and 110 wounded. Many more than that were killed innocent people in Ukraine. And Russian armed forces, Russian officials, they're not even saying, "Oh, we're not targeting the civilians. We're targeting just the military." No, they're just not saying anything anymore. So anyway, I'd like to pray for those people too. Stefan, thank you so much for sponsoring 10 people thank you. I appreciate it very much. MUC, you're kind of right. The things were going to happen right after the elections. Well, I made numerous streams. I feel like a boy in that tale who was crying wolf, but the wolf was really coming. And everyone in Russia was telling me, "Oh, you crying wolf, it's not going to come. Nothing's going to happen after the elections, I made numerous streams. I made a stream right before the election saying, "Hey, look, mark my words down. This is what's going to happen. Okay, write them down. Write my words. After the election, we'll get back to them and you will see if I was wrong or not. And see what's happening right after the elections. Days, not even weeks, days. Russian ruble started devaluing. 50 kopecks every single day. Mobilization is looming right now. Problems with oil. Vladimir Putin is trying to, in panic, is trying to rectify this issue with payments to China. Chinese are not taking Russian payments anymore, and that just smells disaster for Russia, for Russian trade. And this. Ron Klotzer, thank you so much for my ancestors that came from Poland and Slovakia. Thank you so much. They made I take it they came to the USA because you sent $5 American. Good choice, great choice. You're lucky. Mr. Wastelander, thank you so much from Sweden. The end of Putin has started, but it's going to be bloody. Stay safe. My friend, I've been saying exactly this all along. This is the end, but there will be blood. Thank you. Spot on, and I think I am spot on too. Islamic State claims responsibility. What? Mani, Islamic State claims responsibility. Where'd you see that? I'm looking right now. I'm checking. The latest news is they just found a photo. My friends, Moscow is covered by surveillance 100%, state of the art. And they just found a photo 3 hours after the whole thing started. They just freaking found a photo of their car. Ain't it nice? But no one has claimed responsibility according to Russian news. I'm seeing ISIS has taken responsibility. Well, the stream isn't over yet. ISIS has claimed responsibility, and this information has just appeared in Telegram channels of this terrorist organization. There's also reports that on the second floor at Crocus City Hall, they found camouflage clothing. Supposedly, it was used by the shooters, and it was burned, half burned. So what they did, most likely, they changed into different clothes and left the building. The Elvises have left the building. You know, this is super fishy. The entire law enforcement teams, super elite units, this and that, are in Crocus City Hall, and these shooters simply walk away. I will never, ever believe that. So now, hang on one second, I'll see who else is reporting. Just email received. William Gaskin just bought 3 coffees. William, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. What can I say? Money is much appreciated, much welcome, because that's the only source to support myself, my family I have now. But understanding that people find what I say, what I give them so valuable that they buy me a coffee or 2 or 3 or more and become sponsors and patrons and give super chats, knowing that really touches me. Thank you so much. So far, just a couple Telegram channels are reporting about ISIS. And of course, there's millions of witnesses now start speaking, uploading pictures, uploading their telephone films, and so forth. You know, this flood of stuff like that. And it's actually taken me the longest time to filter through things that are, are not that important, okay? Because for every 10 pieces of evidence, for every 10 witnesses, there's just one that is valuable and is worth considering and thinking about and taking into this big picture, So, Reuters is reporting that ISIS has just claimed responsibility. Well, and Russian propaganda starts reacting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Margarita Simonyan, just saw her saying something. Just the words ISIS, and question marks. I don't know. An anonymous person bought me coffee right now. Thank you so much. I don't know who you are, but thank you. That's for you. Andrew Baker, thank you for early buying the coffee. Thank you so much. Now, friends, not much I have to say. I have not much. No, not I have to say. Not much I possess to say. I've shared my point of view on. I'm not claiming that anyone is behind this, the law enforcements, but I'm asking questions, okay? And those questions are very serious ones, and they need answers. Russian people should demand answers, okay? The biggest question is, where are the terrorists? How could they slip through the fingers of super elite units? Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I would like to invite everyone to pray. If you're not religious, if you're religious, if you are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, doesn't matter. We're all humans. We're all people. Let's pray for those who were killed today in Ukraine, in Russia. Let's pray for peace. Thank you. This prayer is going to be a very short one. Some say that I pray in the wrong way. Well, wrong prayers. Well, it's definitely going to be a wrong prayer. That's the best I can do. So I invite everyone to join me along and pray in the wrong way, in the way that we understand. I understand. Let's do it. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for the life that you've given us. Thank you for food that you have put on our tables and roofs that you have given us over our heads. Thank you for the loved ones that surround us, people who love us and who we love. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Give us wisdom to raise them good people. Dear Lord, I am asking you to help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those responsible so they make the decision to stop the bloodshed. I am asking for you to wake them up from their lethargic sleeping, and bring common sense, logic, empathy, and love back into their hearts and minds. Please help everyone who was affected today in Ukraine as a result of Russian strikes. Please help everyone who is right now without electricity, heat, hot and cold water. Please help everyone who is freezing, who is hungry, who has lost her home, his home. Please help all the children who have been affected. Please keep Ukraine and Ukrainians safe. Dear Lord, also please help the families of the victims of today's attacks in Moscow. Please help those who were wounded and recovering now. Please answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Have them recover soon. Please give strength to the families of those who were killed today in Russia and in Ukraine. I would like to ask you also to help my country, Russia, to assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send them as heavenly avalanche to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their faces and by their names. Have angels help good Russians to restore Russia, to bring it back onto the side of light, to Keep it loving, respecting, and peaceful. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you for coming. Please keep on tuning in for daily updates on Patreon, here on YouTube in the sponsorship section. And of course, tune in to the live streams where I will be telling you more messages, my thoughts on things, my angles, and what I find is really important happening in Russia these days. Thank you so much. Before I sign off, I'd like to ask you to say along with me out loud as you can, the following. I finish my live streams with this every single time. Carthago delenda est.